Stützle's up top. Barkov watches him closely. It's sent over to Josh Norris at the hash mark. Back to Stützle. Lots of room. Wide scores!
These two brothers come to play every night. That's what's so special about them.
Pinto has got speed to the neutral zone here for the Senators. Takes a shot. Scores! Shane Pinto!
Gets it back from Zetterlund. Now to Foley for Granlund. Survey. Backdoor score! Fabian Zetterlund.
At the top of the 6-on-5. His shot breaks on him. Brady Tkachuk flips it over his head down the ice. Stützle racing there. He scores! An empty netter!
And Montreal has taken a 3-0 lead in this one. Brady Tkachuk will carry it back in. Plays it across. Stützle scores!
And he does a good job of taking away the lower part, so they're going to have to try and pick some holes around the body or up top.
Tkachuk drops for Sanderson, winds it and shoots, score! Kemper plays it around, Turcotte picks it up. Alex Turcotte, the 5th overall pick in the 2019 NHL draft. Long shot, score! And Deneau for the faceoff. Norris picks that cleanly. Batherson to Sanderson, and back in front, they score! Taking a 2-goal lead in this game, and each time Ottawa's drawn back within 1. Now Chabot with a steal, moves in, holds, Chabot shoots, scores! Picked up now by Cousins, moving in. Gaudette drops in the high slot. McEwen scores! Zach McEwen again! Swings that back to Giroux. Claude Giroux flips it across to Pinto, back in front for Giroux, rolling puck back, headshot, score!
I have been to like Picklesburg and stuff in Pittsburgh.
Same wavelength.
Same thing, yeah.
Puljujarvi back in. Eller takes it, scores! And it's picked up by Lars Eller. One-on-one with Slafkovsky, the forward. Eller sees it, drives wide and scores!
Back at the line. Go! Sanderson for Giroux, works it and shoots, scores!
So it's a 3-goal Chicago lead again, as they've scored early in both the second and third periods, but the Sharks get one back. Fabian Zetterlund, that deflects through the wickets past Mrazek. Third power play goal for Winnipeg. Here's Zetterlund, and he answers back with a goal.
Back to the veteran Giroux. Giroux over to Sanderson. Still no shot here. Here's the one-timer, and it's a goal from Drake Batherson. Collision here near the Lightning boards. Puck stolen. Batherson's in. He scores! Moves into Tkachuk. He's upended. Here's Drake Batherson. Back to Stützle. Waits. One-timer. Vasilevsky ready. Tkachuk scores!
Steers it back down low. It comes around. Cody Glass after it. Up top, he connects to Carlson. He'll wrist it. Save Comrie. Eller scores! Lars Eller looking for help. Hit hard by Miller, but Eller gets the puck back. Here he comes. Shot! Scores! Lars Eller!
Thomas Chabot played 4-on-4 for the first time here tonight. Jensen is in over the line with some good speed, quick passing, and a chance at a goal! As all of a sudden the Tides have turned over the last 2.5 minutes. Back in again. Jensen trying to set up fellow defenseman, and it's in! Young season, tied for an NHL high 8 goals with the Colorado Avalanche. So the power play has been really kicking. Clicking, should say it, it does again!
That home plate area, the high danger area, that almost made a 4-0 lead.
Might not be done. There's a shot tipped in front, and there is the 4-0 goal.
Here comes the ex-King Toffoli. He's checked by Fiala at the Kings line. Up the ice comes Moore. Moore feeds it right side. Shot. Score! Jordan Spence!
And now Batherson on it. Drake Batherson. Great pass back to Jensen. He shoots, goes off the stick of Bobby Sarah. They score! Clevin. Out for Batherson. Banked ahead for Stützle. Great move by Stützle. Bounces back. Batherson in, shoots, scores! Now picked back up. Cousins plays it back. Clevin, a shot goes wide. Rebound, score! Brady Tkachuk! And Ottawa's back with a goal with 10:45 to go in the third. Chabot moves it and shoots. In a skate in front. Chabot gets it back. Shabbat plays it back to Stutzler with a hard shot. Rebound, score! Nick Cousins feeds that across to Sanderson. He shoots, it bounces out wide. And they're calling Forsberg to the bench. It's Ottawa scores! Sanderson shoots and then save. Rebound skipped away from Norris. Norris rinked wide, teed up, score! It's Giroux again.
Yelled at the referee during the stoppage. Well, I'm saying you yelled at him.
Here's Zetterlund on a break for the Sharks. And he scores! Fabian Zetterlund!
Connor Ingram makes the stop, smothers the puck.
Sharks have it off the draw. Granlund and Ingram, and they score! Ingram with the initial save, but the rebound available in Fabian Zetterlund.
Big Neighbors drops that back. That's picked up, and Ottawa back the other way. Here comes Stutzler with Tkachuk. Stutzler winds in, shoots, scores! Tim Stutzler! Trying to thread that pass back in front, gets it back. Centering pass, Tkachuk in, shoots, scores! Brady Tkachuk, power play goal, 4-0 Ottawa. Works back in, puts it across to Stutzler, back to Sanderson. For Tkachuk, has a look and shoots, scores!
Oh, take that! 30 feet, no problem.
In comes Shabbat, drops it back to Giroux, back for Shabbat. Has a look, walks up, feeds that back, score! Tim Stutzler!
Touched on by Wenberg for Zetterlund on the hop. Zetterlund scores!
With his stick swinging like an axe coming at me.
That's not good.
And I started to think quick.
Sabres working in front, scores! Power play goal!
Dylan Cousins.
Under 9 minutes to go now in the second period. Tim Stutzla enters the zone. Stutzla waits in the corner, feeds the point. It's Bernard Docker. Wrist shot. Score! Everly, the captain, blocked again by Hamonic. Puck directed out by Amadio. Racing to it. Stutzla. Open net. He scores! Play, we're coming right back down towards the centers. Greg and Delina still mixed up. Finally, linesman lets them go. Meanwhile, there's a great chance in front. Here's Stutzla. Centering pass in front. Rebound, scores!
Stutzler tight ropes the blue line, pivots back, flips it back to Shabbat. Great pass. Shabbat slings it across to Jensen. Shoots, scores! Chuck wheels that back to Sanderson. Looks down to Stutzler. In front for Batherson, scores! Drake Batherson, power play goal!
Benson's side of the net slides that one across the front of the cage. Dylan Cousins double teamed as he brings it up near the point. Sabres from right to left. Cousins again scores! That's Dylan Cousins that you've been looking for, and so is he. What a great shot!
Shabbat couldn't get it by Quattro. They're tangled up in front of the Bruins bench. Noah Gregor back for Amadio. Scores! The first shot. Ottawa back the other way. It's a track meet. Tkachuk waiting, shoots, scores! Brady Tkachuk, overtime winner!
Continue that walk up the ladder. Sabres now down a goal. They took 28 seconds to tie it up earlier. There's Dahlin, scores! I don't know if that was touched by Dylan Cousins. It may have.
Back out on the ice here for the Sens. Centering pass and another shot, and he scores! What do you think of that tinted visor, though, Jamie? Tinted Timmy, I mean, it looks to be working for him.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
The other way, the Sens. Long shot, and he scores!
And Hamonic back for it. Norris swings it back in front. Tkachuk with a chance, scores! Stutzler back for Batherson, tees it up for Sanderson. Back across, there's a shot by Batherson, scores! Drake Batherson, power play goal, and Ottawa takes the lead.
Good keep in by Celebrini, back to Granlund again. Half a minute left. The shot comes off the backboards. Now dumped out in front, and Zetterlund scores!
Here's Jensen. Stutzler kept that alive. Jensen knocks it down, banks that down to Batherson. Throws it back in front, they score! Stutzler on a sweet feed from Batherson. Now brought in by Stutzler. Stutzler pivots back, centers it. Sanderson a shot, stopped by Samson. Rebound, score!
Around to the far side, Josh Norris is after it, picked up by Batherson. Here's Drake Batherson for Sanderson, shooting. Loose in front, Tkachuk scores! Fired back into the Vancouver zone. Loose puck, comes to the net, they
Claude Giroux. Back up top for Sanderson. Watched by Pettersson as he played it off on the left flank. Here's the flip front. Scores!
Trying to get it to Eklund just off the toe of his stick. Now back for Zetterlund. And Eklund again. Up top wall and the one-timer block. Rebound. Score! Fabian Zetterlund.
Skates it up. Krebs plays it back to the line. Dahlin holds the shot. Cousins scores! Dylan Cozens in the high slot has tied the game. It's 2-2.
Brings it through center. Chychrun with the puck at the attacking line. Jacob Chychrun, great pass. In tight, score! Lars Eller on the finish. It's at the doorstep here, bounce free. Caps have a 2-on-1 break. Lars Eller moving ahead. Eller, coast to coast. He scores! The empty net goal for Lars and his second of the night.
Batherson to the slot, the bumper slot. Norris and Wolf got a piece of it. Now Stützle out of the corner. Sanderson straight away. It's tipped in! Thanks to Josh Norris. Here's Sanderson. Move it across. Stützle. Batherson. Tkachuk. Score!
And William Eklund to center. Zetterlund on his right. Here's Zetterlund. Too far to shoot from that angle. Wraps it around and scores! What second effort!
And Blackwood plays it away from Norris. A loose puck goes to Giroux. Claude Giroux plays it across to Clemens. Points and shoots, scores! And Tyler Clemens got his first National Hockey League goal. 3-1 Ottawa.
I'm mentioning the D getting up on the ice. Here's Dylan Cozens at the line, acting like an offensive defenseman.
One shot on net for the Kings on that man advantage as Brady Tkachuk and Batherson come into the zone with Stützle driving to the net. He scores!
Winds in. Stützle holds, feeds that back to Sanderson. Tkachuk parked in front. Batherson drops it back to Stützle. Shoots, scores! Now brought in by Lundstrom. That's picked away. Lead pass from Brady Tkachuk. In on a breakaway. Tkachuk moves in. Rebound, scores! Zegras backhands it back in front. Miss McTavish with that pass. Cozens back the other way with Amadio. Michael Amadio works in. Looks back in front. They score!
Good turn away though by Clifton. Room in the middle of the ice here. Dylan Cozens plays it onto the wing. Benson to the net, scores! Dylan Cozens
To the slot, Saros up to the task. Another opportunity there for Batherson. That's Tim Stützle out there now. Giroux, a pass, and a goal! That's way wide. And now an opportunity as it's Cozens off to the races. He scores!
Goes wide. He was looking for a deflection. Sanderson on it. Fans getting a little impatient. Stützle got it across. Is it in? Gibson's down, and the puck is underneath him. The question is where Tkachuk thinks it's in.
Giroux thinks it's in as well.
Giroux thinks
he
it's
came
in.
over and said, that's it.
Stützle for Norris. Norris hands it off for Tkachuk. Took the shot, stopped by Gibson, rebound, and he...
See him with better, more productive wingers that would probably be more helpful.
Shabbat trying to get it through, blocked by Fowler. Batherson scores! Tim Stützle down to Drake Batherson. Batherson waiting across. Tkachuk scores. Great setup and he taps it home.
Pullot couldn't get it cleanly.
Spence just played it perfectly.
Kings the other way. LaFerriere cross ice. Shot. Score!
Does it all!
Spence with the game's first goal.
Ottawa trying to hand them in the zone. In front, Pinto! He scores! Shane Pinto breaks through with a sigh of relief. Another strong chance. Jensen walking in, off the bar, and he scores! Final minute to go here in the third period, and what a performance for the Ottawa Senators. A detail-oriented game. Now an empty cage for Pinto. Can he make it two? And he will!
Getting it back to Shabbat, a one-timer. Jarry the save. Giroux on the rebound. Couldn't get a shot away. Shabbat, a blast, and he scores! And here's Brady Tkachuk. Get back the lead for Ottawa. Shabbat waiting for it. Shabbat moving to the net, and he scores! Starting it off now, a pass over to Brady Tkachuk. 2-on-1 developing. Tkachuk waits, keeps, shoots, scores!
He's rubbed out by Kesselring. Now Wallman. Celebrini. He'll catch the pass, get it to the goal line. Kovalenko, they score! Fabian Zetterlund!
Sabres able to knock it down for a minute, but Newhook stays with it before Dylan Cousins gives him the hip and throws him off the puck back the other way. Cousins in the slot with a shot, scores!
Shane. With a breakaway chance against Linus Ullmark in the first period, but couldn't capitalize. Now Pinto the other way has speed. He scores! The Sounds look to extend their win streak. Stretch play. Here comes Tim Stützle all alone. Stützle shot. Decor. It trickles in.
It's away from him to Jake Wallman. He'll get it clear to Zetterlund. 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Shot.
Slot Hamlin, it keeps the play going. He'll let it go from the blue line. Pad saved by Vladar. Cousins now on the loose puck. Finds Sanderson. Nick Sanderson walks in, lets it go, and they score! Over the line, he'll wait for support. Soft ice. Now a breakaway chance all alone. Ridley Gregg with the breakaway. Gregg shoots. Off rebound. He scores! To center on the backhand. Ullmark makes the stop. Yurdo floating it up at the other end. Gives a 2-on-1 chance for Ottawa. Stützle waits, shot, left save, rebound, Tkachuk, he scores!
Leaves along the boards for Shabbat. Pass to Tkachuk, the chop on the side of the goal, blocked away by Lankinen. With Claude Giroux right there, hoping for a loose puck. Now a long shot, tipped in. Giroux out of midair. Senators clear, and Amadio picks up the puck. He's got Pinto going to the net. Amadio centers, Pinto scores! Shane Pinto off the rush. Set up by Michael Amadio. Fans react, no call. Sanderson up the right wing. Batherson to the middle. Pinto's in. He scores. Shane Pinto. He's not on the ice to begin this overtime.
Yeah, he is now. Pinto was on there for the face-off.
And Tkachuk comes over the board. Stützle. Sanderson to the net. He scores.
Edmonton Oilers as they look to extend their win streak to 7 games. Turnover chance here. Nick Cousins all alone. Cousins shot, and he scores!
Here come the Hawks, 4 wide. Bertuzzi finds Bedard a little behind him. And now Quinn's going to work one-on-one with Vlasic. Quinn has Cousins. Cousins shot, score!
Drops it back for Sanderson. Played over to Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk got it down. Batherson to Stützle scores! Tim Stützle! And he wins it. Back for Shabbat. Shabbat with a shot, scores! Ridley Gregg got a piece of the shot.
Back to back, that one's off the target. Sanderson at the point. Good push again from the Senators. In on goal. In front, Gregg scores! Colby's pass. A sliding Giroux blocks it down the ice from Claude Giroux towards the empty net. Scores!
5-on-5 on Jake Oettinger, who's had a quiet night here so far in the first 8 minutes.
Turned over, centering pass, they score! Brady Tkachuk right off the draw. Jensen holds it in. Below the goal line, Pinto. This line stays out. Tkachuk is there as well. Ridley Gregg scores! It's back-to-back!
Rana with some room. That drop pass deflected. Back to the left point. Shot, score! Deflected in front. Lars Eller off the Faravari long distance wrist.
Pinto has Cousins with him. Here's Cousins. That'll do it. Bergeron's penalty. Shot, scores! Brady Tkachuk to Sanderson. Tkachuk again scores! A power play goal that gets through Talbot.
Dangles his way out to center ice. Carries to the Ottawa line. Shot is blocked. And the Senators turn it over right in front. Cousins scores!
And he's the older of the type of young players. He's 26 years old and getting his first chance at the NHL.
No icing, good hustle there. Snapshot, score! Lars Eller!
Going forward, an injury he suffered a couple of nights ago here against the Florida Panthers. Sharks with some changes too. First save and then the first goal! And it is Fabian Zetterlund!
Pulling that free, Tim Stützle. Tied up in the corner by Grizzly. Here's Giroux with it. Claude Giroux feeds it back. Clement, a long shot, score! Final seconds now of the power play. Chabot swings it back across. Giroux centers it. Pinto, a shot, scores! Shane Pinto drives it home with 2 seconds to go on the power play.
Going at each other, and another 2-on-1 if they want it.
Here they come again. Pinto with Chabot trailing. Pinto walks right in, shoots, scores! The puck's still loose. Nedeljkovic still down. Tkachuk has his helmet and they score! Drake Batherson puts it home. There's Chabot back across to Jensen. Shoots. It got through, and Nedeljkovic didn't make the save. They score! Tim Stützle pulls it out.
Of course, this is just a one-off. They will be back on the road. Taking on the Islanders on Tuesday night. Sanderson looking out in front. Really Greg on the doorstep. A chance here. Stützle scores! 30 minutes and counting. Almost at 31 minutes here tonight. Open net. Zub goes for it, and he scores!
Is Brind'Amour looking any happier on the bench, Shane?
I think he is. I think that's probably part of the message. They're a shot volume team.
Cousins right down the middle, and he scores! He's shoved to the boards by Logan Krause. Hedl gets it back to Vakanainen. Up ahead, Hedl with a shot, save. Kreider Redford, they score!
There's your guy.
Arthur Kaliev with his first as a New York Ranger.
Here's Clement with a chance. Shot got redirected on the way to the net. Swindon with the pad save as Stützle jumps on it. Trying to get it in front. He's got it back. He scores! Lindholm will find it for the Bruins. Taken away by Goodhead center. Pinto with a chance. Great save, Swindon. Puck still free. Jensen scores!
Shot Spence through traffic, hit a skate. Now Deneau in the corner. Philip Deneau looking for a play out to Spence with a shot. Score!
In comes Jake Sanderson. Shoots off the side of the goal. Now picked up by Pinto. Slings that back to Zub with a shot. Scores! Artem Zub!
And now a fresh Fabian Zetterlund. In with Granlund. Fabian shoots, save, rebound, scores! What a play!
Surge in goals, Joe. Only 2. That's unlike Adam Fox. That shot is in! Arthur Kaliev.
Granlund. Nice cut to the inside with Will Smith. Back for Granlund. They score! Fabian Zetterlund. It's a 1-goal game again.
Rebound ricochets back to Giroux. Across into the middle. Sanderson. Stützle scores. Power play goal. And the scoring drought is over. Cuts him off with the pass. Gladio slides it through. Chabot down low. Highmore tried to center it. Knocked down and in.
40% of their power play is out. Now cheap lead pass for Pinto, shorthanded. In comes Shane Pinto all alone. Puts it across the goal. Scores! Kind of a funny one. I was midway through the second period. I noticed that he had 5. Stützle flips it back across. In front of Giroux. Scores! Tkachuk busts up with Giroux. And Stützle jumping in. Giroux works in. Throws it back in front of the center. Score! Brady Tkachuk! Chabot. Norris. Back for Chabot. On the front, sends it, score! Ridley Grant, power play goal! That's the 6th shorthanded goal for Ottawa this season. In comes Pinto along with Norris again. Pinto for Norris, loose in front, Lindgren, great save, rebound, score! Tkachuk. Whistler has a look. Goes back to Sanderson. Cross to Giroux, back for Sanderson. Shoot, score! Tipped in front. Chabot drifting in. They find him in front. Chabot all alone. In, shoot, scores! Thomas Chabot on his birthday wins it for Ottawa.
Ottawa with a reboot at center. It's Stützle working it over to Tkachuk. Centering pass. Stützle scores! Starts it off. Pinto over the red line and the blue line now. Sending it deep. Pinto pass to Greg. Up front of Audio. Score! A lot of traffic there. The puck redirected. Back up top to Sanderson. To Tim Stützle. Down low. Senators working it around and they score! Puck stolen. And the Senators get it back. It's Giroux to Tkachuk. Tkachuk keeps, shoots, and he scores!
Stützle. Batherson, Sanderson, back to Stützle. Stützle waits. Batherson scores! Zub now. Sent all the way around. Highmore. Jake Sanderson. Looks for a lane. Great skater. He scores!
Beat by stick. Oh,
they score! Shane Pinto collects the puck. Unless he stumbled on his own, that looked like a clear trip. Perron in tight. Off the body, it's in! David Perron! Hard along the boards, cut off by Nyquist. Tkachuk on the spot, goes for it. It's wide, in first, Ridley Gregg. He hits it.
Help him out, and David Perron back to the point. Here's Chabot, walks the line again, back to Perron, towards the net, bouncing around in front, scores!
The Lightning now, the Sens got to find a way to get their game back in order as far as speed on the attack.
Stützle's in over the line, Chabot, Giroux, right in the slot, scores!
Playoff picture looking in.
Allmark to the bench again as Ottawa will try and get two on Vasilevsky. In over the line, Batherson scores!
Radish there at center ice. Lars Eller galloping in. Eller to his forehand. He scores! A brilliant dash to the net.
Another chance. Right to the top of the slot. Here's Stützle. Lots of room. He'll let it go. Tim scores! Amadio again!
Lars Eller knocked down to the deck by Erik Johnson. Konechny scoops it, but not out. High slot. Eller fires. He scores! Lars Eller!
Taken to the boards by Nikolai. It comes free for Barkov. Nearly turned it over in front of the net. Great timing play at the line by Giroux. Brady Tkachuk in tight, scores!
And Arthur Kaliyev. Kaliyev, wraparound, he scores!
Cousins holds it on the near wall. Power play down to 18. They're working in front. Benson with a move. Rebound. Comes back in front of the slot. No shot that time. Sabres for Cousins. Scores! Dylan Cousins on the power play.
Stick handling his way to center. In for Andrew Podorowski. Podorowski in. Back for Smith. And Zetterlund scores!
Right across for Tim Stützle. Stützle down low. Patterson holds on, up high, Sanderson scores! Suzuki around the boards, Matheson can't hold him in, Tim Stützle turns on the Jets, he's in alone, scores! Now Chabot for Stützle. Tim Stützle curls back, dropped it off, Chabot follows up, scores!
Wenberg just back after an injury layoff himself. And that should benefit Fabian Zetterlund and Will Smith with the talented winger. And they score! Zetterlund stays with it at the side of the net.
In the slot, Eklund. Or maybe a break now. Off ahead is Pinto. Takes off his skate. Breakaway chance. Scores! 30 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Stützle carries in. Cross for Tkachuk. Tkachuk scores! A few of those have gone to extra time, including their last two. 31 one-goal games. Crazy bounce out front, they score! Under control, though, by Batherson, and he gives it to Chabot. Here's Thomas Chabot, a shot, rebound, came in, and it scores! Extra attacker on for the Sharks, they look for an equalizer. With 1:05 to go, but here's a steal by Amadio. Gets to center and scores!
Brought back the other way by Pinto. Up for Sanderson jumping in. Jake Sanderson feeds it back in front. They score! Shane Pinto deflects it home, and Washington bounces back to Stützle. For Sanderson. Giroux tees it up, scores! Claude Giroux, power play goal. Ottawa's back within one. Chabot down to Amadio. Center the Pinto scores! Shane Pinto's got his second, and the game is tied at 3. In for Giroux. Back to Sanderson. Tees it up and shoots. That was blocked by now. Sanderson. For Stützle with a drive. Tops the table. Rebound score! Brady Tkachuk. Power play goal.
And here's a slapper from Sanderson, and it stays out somehow. Can't get much closer than that. Zub puts it on target, and they score! A lot of runway. Here's Drake Batherson. Gathers the puck.
Batherson centering pass blocked. It's in the net. They score, and this game is tied. And he gave it away. Bouncing puck. Stützle, nice move. Stützle moving to the net, driving. Stützle makes a play, and they score.
Liljegren hoping for a shooting lane off the outside of the net. Kovalenko snapped one, and he couldn't put it over the shoulder of Blackwood. Another long shot. Score! Poking it home, Zetterlund. What a pass from
Will Cooley as well running them out on that line. Shot for the blue line, trickles in. Ottawa scores. Scanning, taking a look. Back up high for Chabot. Perron, high side. Chabot watching, lands the shot, loose puck. Dylan Cousins, they score. Perron back in the lineup, brings that. Now a shot while falling. Another chance here for Amadio. To circle loose puck, they score. Michael Amadio has tied it up. Now Miller, loose puck. Sousa will pick it up. Tim Sousa taking a look in overtime. Far side, Tkachuk scores!
Battle along the boards. Giroux digs it out. Spins off Larkin, gets it back. Here's Perron with a shot. He scores! Sanderson, Stützle, call it factory. Broken stick along the boards now. Stützle to the bench. Here's a chance. Sanderson outside. They score!
Against a Flyer team that's lost the first 4 games of a 7-game homestand. Tim Stützle works it back to Claude Giroux. Back across to Tkachuk. Shoots, scores! Brady Tkachuk! Now Perron tries to kick that free. Perron banks that back to Clevin. Holds the line. Rolling puck. Shoots, scores! In the league, shorthanded. And now a chance for Amadio busting in. Amadio works in. Shoots, scores! And Michael Amadio restores Ottawa's lead. I think Chicago's going to be in the same situation. They're going to have to decide at what point you stop waiting for the grass to grow. And now a steal by Cousins. Moves in and shoots, scores! Backhand shot from Cates was blocked. Amadio looks ahead. He's got Pinto. And this time he won't miss. Shane Pinto scores!
For him than that Carolina where he finally snapped that goal route. Turn the tables for him. As Greg fights for positioning in front, a shot by Pinto, he scores! Cousins to the blue line, Matt Powell lets it go. Clevin tees one up, he scores! Goals in back-to-back games for Tyler Clevin. Stützle scanning down low, Tkachuk up, door, he scores! Drake Batherson on the power play. Zoom trying to keep this puck in the zone. Pinto helps out in front of Greg, he scores! Ridley Gregg tucks it home, and it's 4-1 Ottawa. Off the turnover, Ottawa straight into Boston zone. Chabot lets it go from the blue line. Batherson, a chance, he scores! These two are quite the duo for Ottawa. Claude Giroux, can he make it? He'll go for it, and he scores!
Ottawa's come close to tying it on a couple of occasions. Another chance here, Sanderson scores! Jake Sanderson! Brandon Carlo, by the way, an assist on the Nylander goal, so that's his first point as a Maple Leaf. And a chance hit, Perron scores! Saw that stat, third best power play in the last 2 months, but third worst penalty kill, scores! Off the... And Ridley Gregg all over it, up ahead. Michael Amadio is going to put this to bed.
Batherson across the line, holds and shoots, scores! Drake Batherson, a lightning strike. Here's Giroux. Back to Hamonic, a shot, loose puck, score! In the corner for Batherson. Stützle. Back across, and a quick shot, score!
Here's Tim Stützle, and he's on the move. Stützle to Sanderson up front, they score! Dylan Cousins, his pass slowed down. The Senators gather the puck again. It is Hamonic. Wrist shot, a chance, and they score again! It bounces back over to Chabot. Thomas Chabot from the blue line to Giroux. Down low feed, Gregg. One-timer blast, Giroux scores!
And so Ottawa Doing an early power play. Sanderson to the far side. We'll set it along the blue line, finding Dylan Cousins in his first game back against Buffalo in front. Backdoor, he scores! He'll hold, pulls it back, working it up high with Thomas Chabot. Giroux looks out in front, pulls it back. Ridley Gregg followed up. David Perron has the answer.
No shots from Detroit in the power play. Larkin feeds that back. Zetterlund out of the box, picks it up, and he's away with Stützle. And jumping into Chabot, takes that pass in the high slot, shoots, scores! Out of the game for Ottawa. Now Tkachuk tangled up at center ice. Ball in there with Raymond. And now the other way comes Stützle. Stützle shoots, scores!
That's some terrific work, but 5-on-5, they got to go back to work.
Now that clear in went off a Red Wing right to Perron, and scores! Checked by Highmore, he's away with Amadio. 2-on-0, Michael Amadio works it and shoots! Talbot looks back! Amadio thinks he scored. The ref.
Pinto gets to it first, and he'll clear it out. Chabot through center with it. Crossing into the Jacket zone, scores! Cousins circles around with it. He'll stop, throws it on net. Tarasov the save, rebound, scores! Batherson banks it in, and Ottawa's got the lead. Clears it up at center. Ridley Gregg stopped it and then had to play because it went off his hand. He got it to Pinto to the net, scores! Sanderson tips it in.
Clevin. Good move there, Bernard Docker. Centers it, and a chance score! 3-goal lead. Zubelov shot goes wide. There's Amadio, plays that back. Sanderson. Fire, scores! In the play, Bjorkstrand knocked down, play continue. In comes Gregg, Ridley Gregg. The Pinto has one, Pinto! 1-0 Ottawa! Now pulled back out by Gregg. He's poked. Jack Stützle drops it back for Sanderson. A shot, score! Jack Sanderson, power play goal!
There were some lean times. I played for the Panthers during them.
Now turnover to Pinto. Works it back in front. A hard shot, score! Back to Sanderson. Sees it back in front. Batherson trickles right across the crease. And Batherson couldn't tip it home. Played back across. Cousins scores! Has it back down to Stützle. Zetterlund looking for his first goal as an Ottawa Senator. Giroux goes out towards it. And they score! Held by Chabot. Moved ahead, that shot, rebound, score! It's Perron. Sanderson, Zubin, Pinto all up for 2.5 here, score!
Off of the boards, comes back to Giroux. He keeps it onside. Claude Giroux towards the middle, takes a shot, through a screen, they score! Those two engage in a good battle, and they're still at it, and they might drop the gloves. Jensen thought about it, now going the other way. Here's a chance on goal for Slinkin, save, rebound, score. Chabot.
When the Kings had that long road trip to start the year, a 7-game roadie to begin the season. One-timer from the line. Jordan Spence, 6-1 LA.
Puck comes loose. Caulfield tried to knock it free. Kaden Cooley has Ridley Gregg all tied up. Amadio got it to Gregg. Right in front, scores! What a start for Ottawa! Tries to dislodge it, and it comes to Clement. Tyler Clement over to Montempalo. He'll tee it up. Montempalo, the save, rebound, scores! Dylan Cousins. Jake Sanderson up to center over the line where it curls away from Matheson, and he'll dump it off for Amadio. Center to front, scores! Ridley Gregg tips it home. Tap it in a minute 22. Sens win the draw. Chabot's got it. Throws it towards the net, scores! Takes a chop at it. Hudson played it in front. Zuba's got it. He'll bank it out. Matheson racing for it. Pinto on it first. Empty net, scores!
And back comes Chabot the other way. Moves that pass for Stützle. Gets a step on Zamula. In comes Stützle with a chance. Scores! Tim Stützle on the burst. And the game is tied at 1. Zetterlund back on it. At the line, that's held by Chabot. Down he goes to Pinto. Zetterlund shoots, scores! Fabian Zetterlund! Moves it back to Sanders on a hard shot. For no tough save. A bouncing puck. Landed beside him. He's lost his goal stick now. Chabot shoots, scores! Back down to Matheson. Giroux tees it up. Takes the return pass. Here's Matheson. Rick White. He does it. Score! Tim Stützle. Overtime winner. The
puck goes off the skate down the ice. Pala was back. Rimmed around, and it's a very good rim. Nick Cousins has a chance. He's in. Scores! The Senators. Batherson will come in to take this phase up. Win it back to Stützle. He plays to Shabbat. Looks to shoot. Scores!
So sends off to the power play.
Yeah,
Looks
extra
for the
two.
equalizer.
Towards the goal. Scores! Jake Sanderson. Towards the goal. Batherson looks towards the middle. Back to Dylan Cousins. Scores! Another big check. Ridley Gregg saw him coming, and Stillman got the worst of it. Now Pinto in. Scores! What a sequence! Zetterlund had a small window on that power move. Might get a second chance. In front. Batherson scores! Tie game! Cousins. Dylan Cousins up to Sanderson. Still on the perimeter. 1:10 to go on the power play. Simmering pass in front, scores! Batherson!
Have a 6-on-4.
Over the line, Stützle in, what a move, what a goal!
Straight Batherson fired right on. Carlo there for the rebound, taken to the corner by Perron. Up with the puck, Cousins! Stopped by Stolarz, rebound scores! Far side, penalty pending against the Maple Leafs. Artem Zub up high, Pinto right on, rebound, another stop by Stolarz, rebound scores! Another former Flyer, Scott Laughton, side of the net in front, scores! What a pass by Brady Tkachuk, and I think he'll get credit. Laughton got off, Marner checks in. Sanderson hands it off to Giroux. The veteran along, look, scores! In the third period, remember they didn't have a shot until the Gaudette tying goal at 14:47 of the third period. Maybe here, and it's in! From the corner, it goes back to Sanderson, watched by Yarncroke. Here's Tkachuk. No shot yet. Here's one, Stützle scores! From along the boards. Nylander one-hands it back. It gets past cornered, and Pinto. 0-3, Pinto, and it rolls in! But Brady Tkachuk. And now the other way, Perron's in and a backhand. Stopped by Stolarz. The late man, Zub, in front, scores! Put that high, and Stolarz got a piece of that. Played to the line, but not out. Sanderson help, scores! Jake Sanderson through! And the Senators still have life.
It's just those kind of chances just have not been going his way.
Shabbat scores! Thomas Shabbat! Nice. Matthews, pass, picked off, intended for Marner. Here is Gaudette, driving the lane is Cousins! Scores! Short-handed! Net is empty, puck down the ice. No icing because Giroux got there first. Here's Giroux in front. Stützle scores! Chops it across to keep it in. Stützle out at center, there's Tkachuk. A couple of assists and now a goal for Brady Tkachuk, the captain. Fires in the fourth goal. Very in change. Nylander and Tavares are out there. Along with Lorentz. Shabbat. He'll take the shot, scores! Tipped in front. Brady Tkachuk. Shabbat keeps it alive. Gregg recovers his stick. Perron on it. Leafs back at full switch, scores! In behind the net, backed in by Perron!
Nurse, a feed on the right wing, but the Oilers were changing. Kings move in with Hellenius, dropping it. Fiala, center shot, score! Jordan Spence! Spence from the slot.